Good morning, traders. Welcome back to the one and only, of course, Trade the Pool. We're ready to get to the action. Going to take a look into the playbook. I'm excited for another day. It was a down day yesterday. Coming back, of course, with all the tensions in the Middle East. We'll keep an eye out to see if anything else expands there. Also, of course, a lot of watch on the strike. So it was a lot of negative news into the market yesterday. So I'm wondering, do we get a turnaround Tuesday today? So stick around. We'll definitely take a look into the action as the market opens this morning. I will let you guys know, got caught in a position, was able to work myself out of the position. It's so important, guys, because the truth is, as an experienced trader, you're going to have to do this sometimes. You're going to have to work out of a position. Today, getting caught in a short on API. I'll let you guys know all about it in the live trading action. Stick right here. You guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. And let's get to today's playbook. All right, first up on the playbook, we saw VIXY take a nice rip to the upside yesterday. Now we can start taking a look to see if the VIXY takes a rip right back down. It never goes in just one direction. That's one thing I always think about. We're always going to get moves back to support. So I'm looking at a move back towards 1257, maybe even just 13, right? It doesn't need to be a big move. Let's take a look at the chart here. You guys can see how it's moving back, and it's already right now this morning trying to make a move towards the 1350s. But what do I see here? I see 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts already to get towards that 1340s. We're going for one more. Failing there is going to be very important. A move into the 1350s, and we can look for expansion. And that would mean more downside into the market. So today, this will be a big play for me and a big watch. You guys just got to stay tuned to see how I trade it. Let's get to the second one on the playbook. Second one's going to be Google. As we take a look here at Google, I've been talking about this play for a couple of days now, and it seemed like yesterday it really told me something because the action didn't really want to be that bearish yesterday. You can see we opened up here at 170. Came all the way back to 166. I talked about that during the show. It was even before 11 that we were down in that area. And I was wondering, is this an opportunity to get it close to the 165 that we were looking at just the day prior, right? I traded this through the 165 and was able to get a nice little gain on this. Now I'm looking to see if this light blue line holds. Could we get a pullback back into that spot again? So underneath 166, right? If not, I'll be watching today to see if Google just wants to go to 170 and take out yesterday's high of 170.44. So this one definitely in play. And one thing I can say is that it's not as weak in the morning as some of the other plays. And that's another thing to look at, right? Will it just hold this 167.50 and then just start pushing back up, right? So I'll be looking at that level, be looking to see what happens to that. But if you compare it to like an Apple, you can see how Apple's not holding the support this morning. And if anything, looking like it wants to head towards yesterday's low. This is the comparison that I wanted to be noted. Let's go to the third one here as we take a look at Cleveland Cliff. And I talked about this yesterday and was able to play it a little bit. I didn't get as much as I wanted on this, but look, it had a really nice setup. Yesterday it was going in off this 1260s, 1260s, 1260s. Eventually it broke. It just broke a little bit later than I was in the market. It broke around 1130 to the upside. And I saw it. By the time I looked at it though, it was already at 1290s. And I was like, man, I don't feel like chasing this right here. And it's good that I didn't because it would have maybe gave me 10 cents, but that's the max it would have probably gave me there. So now I'm looking to see if Cleveland Cliff wants to take another step up to the upside. You can see the daily chart in the sideways consolidation that we have here. We just need to see if we can clear at 1325 and start moving into the 1350 area. A run to 14, it's still in play here as it's a prior resistance. We'll be looking for that run today. Let's find out if Cleveland Cliff and Steel wants to give it. All right, guys, we'll see what happens in those actions. Like always, smash the like. We got a lot to take a look at as the market's going to be moving just now, right now with ADP, right? So I'm looking right now to see what's going on with that action. Like always, guys, smash the like. We'll take a look to see what happened there. ADP non-farm employment is the changes at 143,000 versus 124,000, 103 prior. So negative there as the private sector job gains outpaced the forecast in September's. So it looks like we got a 143 add versus 124 estimate. So still looking good for the market. It's looking like we could get that turnaround right now. We're already getting it. Look at 830, how this reaction came off of that spot. So that's what I'm looking at, guys. I really want to kind of keep a very close eye on the action today. I do think that we have big potential to actually get the upside move. So dare I say it, right? We'll be looking at that action to see what happens. But right now, we're looking good. Let's take a look at the action in the Sunrise report. We'll go through some of the stocks. We'll take a look at the levels here. Like always, guys, smash the like. Let's keep it going. All right, let's get to the action here. Let's take a look at the trading, and you guys can see my little loss there on API. It's about $53. It's in the limited account, so definitely still a hit here. So I don't trade on it. I'm going to switch over to my main account, but I don't like to hide from trades like that, guys. I always like to admit when I make a mistake. Today, it was a mistake, and a lot of that I had to deal with my twins this morning. I was kind of picking them up, but I shouldn't have taken the trade in the first place. We'll talk a little bit about that during the show. Let's get to, of course, the Sunrise report and what's important, what's moving out there and why. That's always the important thing, right? Of course, yesterday, the major averages coming off a losing session, rising tensions in the Middle East have dampened investors' appetite. Of course, ahead of Friday's key jobs report. Of course, today we got ADP that looked a little bit better, but there's nothing like the Friday job report. That's going to be the most important economic report probably this whole month. I'll tell you guys that right now, because to tell you the truth, guys, if we want to continue the upside action, that jobs report has to continue showing the right direction. The moment it shows that unemployment is starting to spike, well, I'm going to be running for the other side, if anything, looking at shorts, because the truth is the market's waiting to see negative economic data to go back to the recession conversation. But right now, they're trying to talk about how it's just a tiny slowdown in the economy and not a recession. We'll see what happens, guys. Keep your eyes on the action. SPY already climbing. So a little part of me is like, man, I should already grab some SOXL. Look at SOXL already taking off since 8:15 this morning with that ADP report. It's up already 50 cents and starting to make the move. So I think SOXL is going to be a little bit higher up than I can go ahead and get after it. But look at AMD already, NVIDIA already getting the spike. So that tells me to look at Google. Look at that. We just talked about this, guys. Look at the rise already in Google. That's already 63 cents. So looking good there, guys. Tell you the truth, guys, if I wasn't, talking about the news right now, I'd probably be trading it. Let's just say that much. All right, let's go to the action here. Let's get to a different stock that I wanted to take a look at. And I'm seeing API already get a little bit of a spike. So glad I got out of that short there, because definitely would have taken a big hit. Nike right now down big. We'll see what happens in Nike. They got hit again, guys. I know that just got hit on the recent earnings, and now it's getting hit on another one. As Nike stock struggles in 2024, down 18% year to date, with concerns on revenue growth and declining sales here. The key segments like Nike Direct and digital sales fell sharply as the company withdrew its full year guidance, signaling uncertainty as its leadership transitions in Elliott Hill. Investors remain cautious about the short-term performance, especially with the Q2 revenue expected to drop 8 to 10% now. So really bad outlook here for Nike. And now is when I get this type of report, this is a real signaling report. Remember, we were starting to climb back. We were starting to think about things in the recession concerns. And then all of a sudden, what happened? Well, what happened was that we started to go back to the action and focused on what? Well, that the retail report said it wasn't that bad. But what do the earnings keep telling us? The earnings keep telling us that the consumer is slowing down. So this is why I think it's vital to stay with it, right? Now we get another Nike report that's a negative one. I'll be watching, because the next down sweep in the market, I'm definitely going to be going and looking at swings in what? In retail to the downside. Because I don't expect to have a good holiday season, and I expect the consumer to be strapped. right? So I think that that's what we're running into. Of course, we've all talked about the credit cards and how those are all filled up. So this year, you can definitely see some more, buy now, pay later kind of situations. But the truth is, I'm looking to see some more downside come into these retailers because they're just overvalued and now could start taking a hit, especially when you see moments like this from a leading company like Nike. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get back to the action. And Nike could be heading right back down into the gap. It's all going to be dependent, especially on what happens with the situation in the next couple of days. If we do get some more downside, if there's some more downside in the market correction, I can see Nike coming right back down. So that's another reason why you sell the fill the gap, because look, we almost made it right to that gap. You got to sell sometimes on these gap fills, as this did fill. But if you didn't take your money, you're looking back at it now and wondering why. All right, let's go ahead. Let's keep it going. Of course, oil was getting the lift yesterday. It's going to be in play today. We'll be watching XOM, but it's just way too high now. It just took off yesterday, and I was looking for hourly long pullbacks yesterday all day long. None came. So I'll be watching for the same move today. Hourly long pullback. So can I get a pullback to yesterday's level? Can I get a pullback to 118? If I can get a pullback to 118, I want XOM. XOM is the best of breed. But you can take a look at other names, Valero. You can take a look at Phillips 66, right? You can even take a look at MPC, Marathon Petroleum Corp. They're all a little bit lagged. And these are the ones that I'd be looking at also, because it gives you an opportunity to catch it before the rocket move, right? XOM is above the trend line. These are approaching trend lines. You see the difference there? That's the important thing that I want to note for you guys. Smash the like. You guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. Let's keep it moving. Let's go to the next one on the report. Eli Lilly with a little bit of an investment. So let's take a look at Eli Lilly as it's been pulling back around the 900 spot. And Eli Lilly will invest $4.5 billion to build Lilly's Medicine Foundry, a research production facility aimed at improving drug manufacture. This center is set to open in 2027, so I don't think it will affect the stock too much today, but it will be focusing on new methods for medicines like Mounjaro and Zepbound. Of course, they're weight loss drugs. What are they trying to do? They're trying to keep the production and kind of the production of these materials and the manufacturing of these drugs in the same building. Of course, what does that create? That creates better synergies. And what are they trying to do? They're trying to pass the cost savings on to the U.S. consumer because they keep getting hit. And they saw what happened with NVO as NVO got grilled on, of course, in Washington, as they got grilled about their weight loss drugs and how much they're charging. So, of course, wouldn't it be obvious that Lilly is already doing a PR attempt to show that they're trying to bring the cost down also? Clear example of companies trying to take from each other, right? They see what happened with NVO, the negative reaction. So they try to make a bet here on innovation. And really, it's a bet to save themselves. Canara Brands. Let's go to this one. Of course, Canara Brands is an interesting one. That's CAG, if you guys don't know the ticker, and this is in the packaged foods. So you're talking defensive, right? You can see it's already taken a hit on the hourly. It reported EPS of 53 cents, but it missed the estimates of 60 cents. Sales also below the estimate at 2.79 versus a 2.84 estimate. Despite the miss, the company reaffirmed its fiscal 25 guidance, projecting a flat organic sales and EPS between 260 and 265. This doesn't look like the worst, but also take a look. This is a time when it should be doing pretty well. And it did do pretty well in the last kind of, let's say, 2 or 3 months, but 10%, right? You can have tame expectations when you're thinking Canara Brands. I'd be looking at other areas in packaged foods that look a little bit better. But this could be a little bit of a dampening in the industry even today, right? So, of course, when you're talking about this industry, you want to take a look at the top. You got Kraft Heinz, General Mills, Kellanova, MKC, McCormick. Those are the ones that I like. Even Hormel, a little bit more than Canara Brands. But Hormel is a little bit worse because it's already had a big gap down, right? You can see this kind of big down day, and it still hasn't recovered from that. So I would stick with more your Kraft Heinz and your General Mills that are actually on an uptrend. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us in the Sunrise Report. It's time to get over to the live trading side of things. Who's ready to kick it off with me? Who's ready to trade? Let me know your top trade, whether it was this morning or yesterday. I want to know, what are you guys trading a little bit more of? Is it the small caps? Is it the large caps? And like always, if you're tuning in on X, you can always join us on YouTube and drop some comments, as I'm willing to go ahead and take a look into the charts that you guys are watching. So smash the like. Let's get it started. You guys know where you're at. Start the countdown. It's time for Trade the Pool Live.
Wants 200, baby.
You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money.
It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at. You guys know where you're at. You guys got it. Let's get to the action. It's Trade the Pool. I'm excited to get it started today. Go ahead and take a look at the action. First thing, we got to talk about a little bit of some red action. You know, no one likes to talk about it, but you guys know I don't hide from it. So I'm looking back at this and wondering, maybe I should have held a little bit longer and looking for the move back completely. I could have got it back already. This would have been the move right here. Let's take a look at the action and what happened with my API trade. And it was a tough one here, guys. So I'm out of it with a $50 loss, got out of there at 667. But boy, oh boy, was this a dangerous one. This could have cost me a max loss day, right? And so this was definitely a trade that I managed, and can't be mad about it that I didn't get it back break even or in the green like it would be right now. But this was a tough one, right? And I always show you guys things, and this is the transparency that you guys get on this channel versus everywhere else. I'm telling you guys right now, you can look around at all the live trading shows around. They're not going to be telling you this. They're not going to be showing you the sizing. They're not going to be telling you, especially that filled order box on the bottom left. They ain't showing you it, guys. The reason why, they're going to hide and they're going to try to make things look better than they seem. The truth is, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you guys how it is. Sometimes that's going to go good. Sometimes that's going to go bad, right? That's the truth. Right here, shorted it 200 at 611, was looking for the 6 break and was saying, okay, let me just hold off to like the 625, 630 spot. Boy, oh boy, did that come fast. Next thing you know, it was at 635. I hesitated for a second, and that was already at 650. So at that point, pretty much looking to see if I can get it back down to 630 to get out. It just spikes on me, just keeps spiking, right? That's how small caps go a lot of the times. It got all the way up there to the 730s. I eventually ended up shorting it here at the top, right? Near the top right there, 729. The high being 735. Was willing to add another shares there. I had 125 shares at 740 ready to go if needed. But it didn't hit that. It started to come back down. I had an average at like 650s here, and actually covered at 667 as it started to come back down. Did I want to get it back down to 650s? Yes, and should have got it close here. I went to like 652, got close, and it just bounced. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not hanging in here for this to go back to 720s. I'll get out now and take what I can. But now you can see it. It's at 630s already. So I would be essentially in the green right now, about 30 cents up, probably, let's say, $90. And that just goes to show you guys that sometimes you got to stay small and be willing to go within the fluctuations there. Still, 300 shares was still small enough to handle some of that volatility and get out, right? I did take a hit, and got to be honest, I was a little bit concerned there, and I was thinking, and I said, you know what, Mitch, you said you aren't going to trade any more of these small caps. And it just seemed really interesting this morning. And that's the hard part, because every morning, of course, what do you see? You see those gap scanners, and those gap scanners can definitely catch us. Today, we're going to be talking about how to build a trading watch list, and especially on the platform. So I want you guys to take a look at how you can do that. Look at it. We're at 620s now. We could be right back at 6 or even 560s by the bell. I think this API is pretty much done. I don't see it back at 7. I could see it maybe trading like that turn during the open. I'm going to leave it alone though now, because if I start trying to trade this, it starts to become that revenge type of feeling. I already managed it enough to the point where I can keep trading on this account today. And that's what's important, right? So I managed it. Now got to keep trading. We'll see what happens. Yesterday, really good day in my main account, as I had a nice little 400 day. And I'm still battling in that account, guys. It's been a battle. I'm still in the green, right? I'm up about 1250, guys. I try to keep it as real with you guys as possible, but it's been a tough last couple of weeks as we have been sizing up. And I've been talking about that here. And I'm going to continue talking about that, because the truth is I try to tell you guys exactly how it is. So I want to go ahead and give you guys perspective into the statistics on this account as we take a little bit of a review here. I'm going to pull off API, as that doesn't really matter anymore. We'll take a look at some other stocks today. We're definitely going to be watching Citi top trade yesterday. We'll see what happens with that one. Can it take another leg down, or will the SPY just continue to climb? This morning, it's already climbed. So I'm going to be interested to see what happens towards the bell. I'm pulling up the statistics right now. It's kind of calculating it out. Just give it a couple seconds here. Once it pulls up here, I'll go ahead and I'll bring it onto the screen and we can take a look at it. All right, guys, let's keep looking. What's up going on out there, traders? How we doing? It's good to see you guys. Good morning. Of course, we got that limited account. That's where I took the hit this morning. So I want to bounce back. That account now in the red with that loss. Just got to bounce back. That's all it is, man. We'll see what we can come up with today. I think I'm down about 75 on that one, but we can do this, team. We can bounce back. Let's get after it today. Let's see what we can come up with. What's up out there, traders? How we doing? Day trade with Tony. Watching for the reversal short now. Okay. What you looking at? Took 70 cents on API. First thing. There you go, day trade with Tony. I think I gave you the 70 cents. I'll take it, though. Hey. Sometimes you got to give lunch for other traders. Here's your lunch, my friend. I hope you enjoy it. Mustafa, I miss you, buddy. Hope things are going great for you. Keep getting after it and stick to those golden rules. Today, I messed up one of those. Don't be like that, guys. All right, XLE on the list today. Chevron, Nando, we'll see what happens. I think that, one of the things is I hate when the trade just kind of rips and then we try to catch it on day two. It's hard to catch it, Nando, but I'll be watching it for you too. We'll see what happens, right? XLE is on the radar. Chevron, I don't know. I don't like Chevron that much. I like more Valero and PSX, but that's just my outlook. That's just because I've traded them in the past and done well. So it gives you that kind of recency bias, right? All right, guys, on Trade the Pool, of course, we have the watch list method, and I want to show you guys that today. So let's go ahead. Let's just pull up a new watch list and see what we can come up with. Of course, you guys can do this yourselves. You guys can load different symbols. Right now, I have a default one. Default just brings like 50 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and put this, you know what? I'll put this on the right-hand side just for the time being, because we're not taking trades right here, just to kind of show you guys the watch list and how you guys can be using it. So here it is on the right-hand side. You guys can see that there's different names here. You can line it up here by change percentage. You can even filter out, right? You can say, hey, I don't care about anything that's red. I'm going to filter out what's red, things like that. Or let's say you just wanted to filter it out by price, right? You can also hit the filters right here. The filters are really going to help you guys. And maybe it's just volume that you're trying to filter. I definitely recommend filtering out something, right? And now from there, you can go and create new lists, right? You can always add new names on here and start to take a look to see what's making a move. What I think is important is kind of making a new list every single day. What's on your playbook, right? What's on your playbook for, let's say, October 2nd. And then what you can do is you can kind of review these and see how it was at the end of the day. You could hit the plus symbol and just start adding names, right? Whatever it may be. What are you watching today, right? So you guys in the chat, throw up some stocks. I'll keep adding it here. And we can, we can take a look and add some more names, right? I think it's definitely important to add as many as your names as you can here and get ready for the open, right? We'll see what happens with NVIDIA today. We can add NVIDIA, see what happens there. And of course, Tesla's been on the radar lately, so we can take a look at Tesla. Of course, it's getting closer and closer to the robo-taxi day. And of course, we'll be watching things like the SPY and the Qs. I always add the SPY no matter what, just to take a look at where it is, right? You can also take a look at Today, I would be watching XLK because yesterday was such a hit to technology. You could be watching that as a symbol to tell you what's going on in technology today. So I'll be watching on that one. Of course, SMCI just had a stock split. I don't like that name in the long term, but I don't mind maybe taking a little bit of a trade in the intraday action. I'll also be watching, of course, Cleveland Cliff today to see what happens in steel. We'll continue to watch to see if maybe XLP makes a move to the upside today. Will it be the staples? Will we just get another down action day? Something definitely to watch. And of course, we got to add the VIXI on here. VIXI's been treating me well, so we'll continue to take a look at that. And you guys out there, throw up some stocks. What do you guys want to add on here? I'll go ahead and add it. We'll do Chevron. Let's go ahead and add Chevron. I know that you mentioned that one. What other ones you guys want to take a look at today? Shorted HUM with 25 shares for a nice 450 profit. Added in 5 share increments on the way down. This is what I'm talking about, Shane. That's what I want to hear, man. And that's how you do it. So, hey, shout out to you. I love to hear comments like this. 25 shares making 450. That just goes to show you guys, you don't need 1,000 shares. I'll repeat that. You don't need 1,000 shares. You just need to sometimes look at different names and be willing to get something that's a little higher price that moves dollars on the way down. This is one thing to think about as you get into the higher price names, right? And maybe higher quality where you don't have to worry so much, right? Humana's not disappearing tomorrow. That's one thing I can definitely say. And it's also probably not going to make a 700% move, right? It's just not going to do that. So love to hear mentions like this, Shane. Shout out to you, man. I love the way you're trading. And if you ever want to come on the show, hey, just know the door is open to you, just like it is for all of you guys out there. If you guys just want to come on and hang out with Money Mitch, hey, well, we're gonna have a little hangout. You know what? Let's have a little hangout this Friday, guys. You guys let me know who wants to come on. I can send you a link. You can just come on audio only if that's what you want to do. But I would love to have some more traders in here just hanging out and talking to me. So if you guys want to come over on Friday, hey, stay tuned, guys. Friday's coming up soon, so we can have a little fun and kind of join the show. And that's open to all of you guys. That's how I am, guys. So smash the like. We'll see what happens out there. All right, watching it for a reversal short now. We'll take a look at that one, right? API still looking good. It could cut down through 6, and then it's right back down. Vic, what's up out there? How we doing? It's good to see you. Good morning. What do you think about SE? Let's take a look. And golden rules, of course, Mustafa. The only way that we can continue going and staying in the green. Because why? Because we're just relying on our process, right? That's what's important, guys. All right, SEC Limited, you're taking a look into China, and this is a really good sneaky China play, right? Because this has been beaten down for forever, it seems like. This seems to me like more like a swing trade. Why? Because this is the type that you're going to have to give it a little bit of some room to move, but once you get the move, it could be a big one, right? So you're already getting the move already, starting to shake this kind of down period, starting to get out of this next layer to make the move. It's a big move, right? It could make a move all the way up there to 125. At this point, I'm looking for pullbacks on this, but you're now extended away from all the moving averages, showing you the strength to the upside on this. And I think you just look for pullback days, right? Anything back at that 9 EMA is going to look juicy to me, because when this stock loves to get extended away from the 9 EMA, it comes back to that blue, light blue, away, light blue, away. I'm looking for that move to the light blue line, and then I can join the party. It right now is at the top end of that range, so I'd make it look to see if it can come back towards, let's say, 96 today, right? Fake out some buyers towards this 98.50, and then watch it come right back to the upside. This is kind of one of those names. It's a little bit of a hidden play here, and with some good exposure in China. All right, we'll see what else is out there, guys. So that's how I feel about SE. We can take a look at some other names out there in the market. What do you guys have this morning? What are you guys looking at? And of course, don't forget the names that I mentioned yesterday. there's still some good names there. I'll keep it rolling at the bottom so you guys can take a look at that. And these are some names that could be affected by the strike. They still haven't made the move. And a lot of that based on yesterday, as of course the Middle East grabbed all the attention out there. But we'll see what happens, guys. All right, guys, taking a look to see what's going on out there. Not bad, man. It's a battle out there. I'll tell you that much, guys. Taking a look here to see what's going on. And it's not doing too bad, guys. Lately, I've been about, 35? This account been pretty much like 35, 40% accurate, yet still in the green, and that's what matters most, guys. Going to continue battling, right? It's been a little while now, and I'm looking to try to get this. I got to scroll this back a little bit further here. So let me scroll this back a little bit further so I can get all the statistics here, because the starting capital was off by like 500. So let me fix that, and I'll show you guys the statistics in just a second. All right, guys, let's go ahead. Let's get ready for the open here. It's 9:02. We're going to get ready in just a second here, looking around to see what else is making a move, what else is showing up on my scanners. Why do I see golf? That's always interesting to see there. GOLF. Why is this up? It's just a gap up. It's nothing that's making a move right now. I was wondering why it was up. Energy, of course, catching fire yesterday. We'll see if it catches fire again today, and we'll continue to watch to see if there's any headlines out there. And that's what I'm really looking at for any kind of headline risk. You got to keep your eyes open out there because there's going to be a lot of action, and there could be always some kind of headline risk there. We'll be continuing to watch, of course, the private sector today showing some strength. Now we'll have to see what happens if there's any kind of battle back. Saudi oil minister said that prices may fall to $50 a barrel if others cheat. So I think that's something to definitely think about. Wall Street Journal reported earlier the Saudi oil minister said prices may fall to 50. So, hey, this is going to be interesting, right? I think that you're getting mixed noise in oil. The Saudis are saying that the oil prices are going to tumble because they're willing to go ahead and kind of increase production. But, of course, the Middle East situation is saying watch out for the supply of oil because that could be affected immediately. And then if the supply gets affected, we all know it's not a demand thing now. It's more about the supply. So sometimes you're seeing changes in demand, and sometimes you're worried about supply concerns. In this case, it's more of supply, and supply can affect price faster than demand can. So we'll see what happens there and what can be the move. Joby mentioned out there. All right. Is it Bollinger Band on your chart? If yes, what's the inputs? Yeah, I got you, TJ. So right here, you guys can see the Bollinger Bands is on there, and I'll show you guys the inputs there so that you can actually see them, right? It's right here. I got the 20 period. I got a standard deviation of 2, right? That's normally what you do for the Bollinger Bands. The kind of the extremes are 2 standard deviations away. I use a simple average. You can change this to an exponential if you want to make the most recent action more important. So I could put it on an exponential. Really, I don't think it matters too much. I don't think it adjusts it too much. And then I do a little bit of a shading. Now the shading sometimes it can get a little bit of annoying sometimes. So if you want to, you can lighten that up a little bit to maybe like 10% or something like that, so you don't see it too much. But I like it. It's not too bad. It's something that I'm not like, I don't use it to the point where it's 100% the way I trade. But lately I said, why not just have it on the chart, right? Why not just know where the kind of the expansions and standard deviations are? And a part of this is the mean reversion trades, right? The same way that I was kind of trading API, and why I was able to kind of stay in it there is that I was starting to see that it was hitting that kind of top end of the Bollinger Band and starting to pull back, right? So you can see it here around the 730, hitting the Bollinger Band, expanding away from the Bollinger Band, and then all of a sudden retracing back to the middle line, right? And so I was looking to see if this would go back to the bottom end of the Bollinger Band. Just like it did from here, bottom to the top end and extended away, it quickly pulled back. A lot of times when we expand away from that Bollinger Band, we quickly pull back. Now, this could change with some small cap names. Sometimes you can stay on the top end of that, but it's one way to take a look at it. So there you go, TJ. Always trying to help. And if I can, I'm always here for you guys. All right, guys, not much for me yet. Going to be taking a look at ARM and NVIDIA. Okay, always on the list, right? Tesla, big red. We'll see if it turns around, right? Joby is trading higher. All right, let's take a look at Joby. Of course, Joby Aviation. We're talking I really don't believe too much in Joby, guys. I don't think we're going to be taking little planes to kind of be going places. But hey, who knows what can happen in the future, right? This is my thing with Joby, is that it's a very far out product. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But is it something that gets sexy? Oh yeah, it's sexy in retail lies. I don't know if it's that they're just interested in the way that this company works, or they actually think this has potential. I mean, I know a lot of people are taking a look into it, but I don't know about it, man. But we'll see what happens here. Now, can this get to $6 is so important. It's getting a little spike there. It got to 6 this morning, 6.13 as a matter of fact, and we'll look to see now what happens. It's just going sideways here. Tried to get back through 6 in the morning, failed again. So at 8.53, it failed there. So I'll be looking to see if we can get a little pullback back to the bottom end of the Bollinger Band. We just talked about this expansion away from the Bollinger Band. It comes right back inside of the Bollinger Band. Now you start to see the contraction with the volatility. Why? Because the bands go closer to the middle as the price action doesn't deviate from, of course, the kind of the middle line there. And so that's why you see the lines kind of get tighter. I'd see this coming back down towards the bottom end of the Bollinger Band, coming back towards like 557, 550s. Try that one more time to break down, and then looking to see if it comes back towards the open. Joby. And of course, with Joby, you can always watch Archer, right? They're going to be moving side by side. That's why they got the spike there, right? Keep your eyes on these. It's always good to have relationships. And my man, Day Trade with Tony, coming in with the information like always. Something definitely to take a look at. We'll see what happens. Looks like they invested an additional $500 million to support the certification and commercial production of electric air taxi. And I'll tell you guys right now, I just don't believe in air taxis. But hey, who knows what the future could bring? Maybe we're the Jetsons and we're flying around everywhere. Who knows, right? All right, guys, I'll tell you one thing. Flying, there's more room up there than there is on the ground with cars. So who knows? Maybe that's what we need to do. Or maybe we need to have like little drones that just take us places. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? Tesla Model 3 deliveries coming in here today. Let's talk a little bit about the Tesla deliveries. It's definitely something to keep a very close eye on. And I'm just going to verify these. I'm sure you gave me the right ones, man. But hey, I'll just go ahead and I'll take a look at it here. And definitely you can see the production's kind of affecting things. And this was something that was going to definitely be watched. So here it is. Here's the numbers. Thank you for throwing them up there too. Thank you, Par. Tesla reports Q3 production of 470 vehicles versus the deliveries of 463,000, deploys 6.9 gigawatts of energy into storage products. So you guys can see that's actually going to be affecting Tesla on the negative side. As Tesla takes a tumble here, guys. So remember what I talked about, how it would be a buy the rumor and then sell a news event. And I talked about how it would be closer into this week where you'd start to see that turnaround. About 1 week out from the event, I start to see a little bit of turnaround. And what are we? We're literally 1 week, 1 day from the event. Now Tesla's deliveries can ruin the momentum and bring it back. Bring it back where? Bring it back towards where we were on the gap, right? I talked about 245 on the pullback. That's going to be the level that I could start to look at for kind of catching on support. It's at 248 already. Look at the drop there in Tesla. And what does it do? It catches all the bulls that were like, but robo-taxi's coming. What happened? Well, it's just like that, guys. And a lot of it is buy the rumors, sell the news. So you got to be ahead of the action, especially when it comes to Tesla. If you're late to the majority of the move or you're late looking into the news, guess what? They're selling to you. So there it is, guys. Tesla down to 248. Destruction on that will hit the Qs. You'll see right now that the Qs are coming back, right? They'll buy something else, right, to try to hold this up. This is arbitrage style, right? What are they going to buy? Are they buying Google? Oh, they're buying Google there. You can see it there. It's not too bad as Google starts making a little up move there. Let me see Apple. No, they didn't buy Apple there. Microsoft's on the downside. Amazon, yeah, it was Google. they were looking at, guys. So I'm going to be looking at Google today, especially. I think if we could have an update, Google is one that to watch for the move back towards 170. It's definitely something that I'll be keeping an eye on. You can see the hourly and how you got this little sideways opportunity to take it back towards that 169, right at the open even. Will I trade this at the open? It's kind of hard. I would have to see quick upside action, but we'll see what happens here. Is there a play here? Yeah, there's a play. 1, 2, 3, 4 times to try to break the bottom. You guys know how I like to look for this. This is a common pattern that I talk about. 4 times to break a support. You look for reversals or bullish engulfing candles to show you the upside. And that's exactly what you get here, right? This is a bullish, what they call a bullish engulfing candle. So at that point, I look to see that this body close holds. So right here around this 167.80s, and you just undercut it to 167.70s is going to be a big level for me to watch at the gates. We'll see what happens there in Google. All right, adding Salesforce to the list. Not a bad one to definitely take a look at. And Tesla is getting the dump now, so we'll see what happens with that. If it continues on the downside, and look to see if you see some different buying. Are they buying Meta on this, right? Let's take a look here. I'm going to be watching Meta today. I've been looking to see what would happen with Meta. It's just hanging up at the top end of the range. It was just down, looking like it wanted to come back to the 90 EMA. So we'll see if this maybe does a takeoff to 600. It could be because of new products, right? The AR glasses were a little bit interesting. I will say that. I don't think the Oculus was the craziest, but the AR glasses where they got, of course, they got NVIDIA's CEO. They got Gary Vee to kind of check it out and be all like kind of amazed. And you clearly heard, and they made sure that you heard that the CEO of NVIDIA say that he liked multiple things. The kind of the range in the field of view, the depth perception, the colors. You heard him mention that, and that was important, right? So if NVIDIA's CEO supports it, or at least enjoyed it, could be something to look at, guys. So Meta, definitely. I was thinking that it was going to start coming down because I don't believe in too much of Meta, but the truth is that was an interesting product. And Zuckerberg, you did it right. You did it right, my friend. All right, we'll see what happens if this ever does cut back down through the 570s. But for right now, I still see Meta on the upside. So those two names are two of the top ones that I could watch today in the queues, right? Apple is still doing well, but it's gotten a quick pullback opportunity. And it starts to look really toppy now, right? I mean, it doesn't mean that it can't go back to that level, but you can see it here. 1, 2, 3, 4 times to try to get through the 235 and failing there. Now it could be approaching back towards 220s. It's going to be about the SPY. Will we have a true correction period? I talked about how we kept holding above the 90 EMA and rejecting. And yesterday I even gave this line, the 481.50. If I break that, worries and watch out. Well, there you go. We cut that yesterday, and look what's happening today. We keep rejecting that area, even a little bit higher towards like the 483s. The 481.50 is going to be important for me to watch today to see if we just reject it and come back to 478. If we do that, we could keep going lower and we could be in more of a correction phase. And I think that, you could easily see the 50 moving average come back to, which is 473.20s. And then we start to make the move back to the upside. So we got close there from the upside. Now we're starting to pull back. We're underneath the 90 EMA. That would be about 3.3%, which isn't the worst correction, right? Now, I'm not saying takedown, I'm saying correction. Usually what? So we're talking anywhere from, let's say, 1 to 5%. Normally, I would see a correction as 3 to 5%, with something to think about here in the Qs and the SPY. All right, Q's making a head and shoulders on the 2-minute. 480 is critical. We'll keep an eye on it. Thanks for the level. And it's always good to give your levels, guys, because a lot of traders will be watching for it, right? And you never know when your level could be matching up. API, guys, it looks like I sold that one a little early. Would be up about $150 on that one. So it did look like it was coming right back down after that breakout towards the 730s. Now down to $6. This is where I saw it coming back down to. I was up towards 650s. Maybe just sold it a little early. But to tell you the truth, it was just more about the danger, right? And then that's why I definitely got out here. It could have been really bad hit on the downside, right? So, hey, not going to be too mad about protecting myself, right? Protection always first, then you worry about the gains. In this case, took a hit, and we'll just keep battling, guys. Let's go, guys. All right, what else is going on out there, team? It's looking good. We got a lot of you guys joining in on X. What's going on? What are you guys watching? All right, looks like we got a good amount of you guys out there. So let me know what's on the radar here. We got about 9:16. We got just a few minutes before the bell here. Let's take a look to see what we're getting on the action. Definitely a little bit of a mixed noise type of day. We can keep watching the steel play. I'll be watching that, of course. The shippers still on alert. I'm still looking for the pop. I think we'll still get it at some point. Just the question is, will it wait to like kind of shake some people? Will it kind of make it to the point where people are not watching it and all of a sudden it goes? I think that's the way the move's going to go. We'll keep a watch on SHIP, different names. Matt X, I can kind of watch. I take a look at some of the leaders ones, right? Because the leaders are going to kind of lead, and then you'll have laggards kind of follow behind that. So like Starbuck wasn't looking like the worst yesterday. It was kind of hanging in here. So I'm looking to see if that one makes a move to 24, different things like that, right? So we can add that to the watch list and kind of keep expanding the watch list here. SBOK, let's go ahead. Let's add SBOK. I'm going to add a couple of these shippers just to have them on there and just to keep an eye on it, right? At the end of the day, there's no guarantee that these will make the lift, but I definitely don't want to miss it if we do get the lift in these. So we got SHIP, we got Matt X. We can take a look at Nat. Nat's a smaller one, of course, but I'll keep a watch on these. And then, of course, you got Zim. Zim. All right, so there you guys have it. Adding some to the watch list there. Of course, we have Tesla on there, and we can take a look to see what's leading right now. Chevron's on the upside. Downside, of course, Tesla and Zim. SMCI also taking a hit there. So we can keep an eye on those names. What do you guys got? What else do we want to add on the list here? The industrials haven't done the worst, right? I'm still keeping an eye on Pakar. I don't have it right now, but I want to keep an eye on it to see what happens. Will it get the move up? It's right now trading around 98. I'll keep an eye on it with Deere also. Did you guys see the move in Lockheed Martin yesterday? That's the one that normally moves when you start talking war, right? Well, Lockheed Martin, big rip up there, guys. And I like the pullback opportunity you got there yesterday. You got a rip up on the hourly. You went to 611. You pulled back right to the support at 600. And you pushed right back up to that 611. That would have been an awesome trade. You could do it with minimal shares. It could even be 50 shares, right? I mean, 100 shares there gives you $1,000, a little bit more than $1,000. So that just goes to show you guys that you can trade these larger names with smaller size. Dare I say that, right? Well, just want to mention that because we got to mention even earlier today, my man Shane talked about how 25 shares made him $450. You don't need to make $1 million, guys. You just got to look for different types of trades. And sometimes it's going to be getting out of the penny stocks, getting out of the small caps and looking into higher quality, mid caps, large caps, even big names can make you a lot of money, guys. Tesla, right? I've talked about how I've made hundreds of dollars with 10 shares sometimes in Tesla because it easily moves 10 points like today, right? I mean, you're seeing what? It's down 4%, but that's a big move in Tesla, right? You're talking from 260s to 246, right? You're talking $12. 10 shares can make you a lot of money, guys, even with that, right? So we'll see what happens out there. Mullen, what's up, man? Mullen, oh man, the Mullinator. I can't even take what that look there serious, man. I don't think Mullen is a real company. I can tell you guys that right now. I'm probably going to get a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if I get a little lawsuit on this, guys. So please smash the like because I might need it after this. But Mullen, I don't believe it at all, man. I think it's fake, man. I just don't believe it. It's just like Nikola, man. They're pushing cars down hills, and that's the only way I believe in them. And when you do a stock split that's 1 for 100, who are you still trying to trick, Mullen? I'll tell you one thing. You ain't tricking me, man. I ain't trading this thing. If anything, I bet to the downside. But that's when it's at a higher price, right? I mean, take a look, guys. If Mullen were ever to go back to the top of the chart You know what price it would have to trade? $2,000. I'm sorry for being loud, but man, holy moly. That's just some BS, man. That's just some BS here. Mullen, to me, it's almost like, how do investors even look at this? How's this even taken serious? And I've tried to ask them to drive their vehicles when I was at Benzinga for a long time. I reached out to them multiple times. Can I drive the vehicle? Can I get behind it, right? Can I test drive it? Nope. No answer, guys. No answer. So I don't know, man. I don't believe them. All right. True. Tesla has been a good one. Yeah. And you don't need to trade big size with Tesla, man. Trust me. I was getting ripped with 80 shares on Tesla when I tried to swing it. So because it can move $10, right? And that's just the truth, guys. All right, LI, that's showing up on my scanner this morning. Let's take a look at that, right? Of course, they reported yesterday, and it did trade up. It just continued to go up yesterday, and it was a good trade. Even though the market was coming down, this didn't go down, guys. So this just continued to go up, and it's crazy to me to think that these stocks have now boosted up 69% there. Let's look at BABA. BABA's taken off a what? 40% move. JD has taken off a what? 51% move. Man, this is crazy. PDD has taken a what? A 50% move higher, guys. So this just goes to show us everyone's paying attention to what's going on here in the States, but we're missing out on the best trade of the quarter. And you don't see CNBC talking about this. Yes, they tried to talk about this last week, but now they're talking about different things. They're taking their eyes away from this, guys. The big money is being made here, and then it's going to come back. When it comes back, that's when we can join the party if we didn't partake in the rally, right? NIO, the same thing, Vic. It's big moves in China, right? I mean, let's take a look at NIO. NIO's move has been pretty much, not insane, 37%, right? But that just goes to show us, right? Sometimes the media is going to take us looking this way, even though we should be watching what's going on right here. And that's the China trade. And we were talking about how last week on that Tuesday, it could definitely affect it. Now the China trade has taken off. We have to look for pullbacks. There will be a nasty red day. The question is, when will it happen? It'll happen when the big money is made. When, let's say, like a Michael Berry wants to take the money and run, right? He's already made millions on this trade. And that just goes to show us, right? If he's making millions, why can't we make thousands? We definitely can, traders. We just need to keep eye on what's not in the media today, what's going to come to the media in the next week or two. You have to stay ahead of the catalyst. It can't be chasing catalyst as it hits CNBC, as it hits all the medias, right? Fox Business, as it hits even Benzinga, right? You need to stay ahead of things. And that's one of the major things that I try to do for us right here on Trade the Pool. Just like I talked about the strike a little earlier, right? Just like I tried to talk about how interest rates were turning and we were going to take a look to see if industrials could run. How I talked about how when I first came on, utilities could go higher in a situation where you were getting a rate cut cycle, right? That still has happened. Trades like this, team, are what truly make traders, because it's not just a technical edge. You're getting a big move in a whole area, right? Where if you would have took 10 of these China names on that Tuesday even, guess what? You'd be 10 for 10. But to tell you the truth, it gave you the probability that at least you were going to get the majority of them into the green. Things like this are a big way to make big trades. We're talking the ones that you guys are really trying to make that can make you that big kind of move, can win you a funded account in one trade, and multiple trades. Like this China trade could have won us the account already in 1 week, just taking multiple trades in these China names. So it just goes to show you guys ways that you guys can make money. Another thing is swing trade. We talk about our swing accounts. Our swing accounts could have really made money in this. This is where I even made a mistake. and need to learn from it, right? I'm always going to tell you guys when I feel like I didn't take the trade right. This China one should have gone in the swing account, and we should have been taking more and more. I remember I traded with Michael. Michael, of course, our CEO, Michael Katz. Shout out to him if he's listening. But we were trading yin, and we were looking at that opportunity, and we talked about it here, how yin started to look good. And that was way early in yin. If we got in then, I mean, we'd be singing out here versus worried about what happened yesterday, right? I mean, yin, we were looking at it all the way back here when it was at the $20 spot. Created this on September 23rd, August 23rd. That's when we were looking at this, guys, all the way back in August 23rd. So just goes to show us that definitely need to be continuing to watch, trying to trade. And sometimes it's not the one that's in the limelight. It's the next one that gets you your money. All right, let's go ahead. Let's go back to the market. We're getting ready here for the open. It's 9:26. Let's go to the SPY. Let's take a look at the recent action, see what we're getting. You guys can see we're chopping around on the 15-minute. I take a look at the hourly as you got now kind of upside trend lines that you can start to watch. And I'll just take a look at yesterday's action, right? And start to draw it off of that, not the other action, just yesterday's action. So back above, let's say 570s, because you could make an attempt back to go towards this 570 up here. That's going to be the level to look for the bullish side. I still could still see a move back towards this trend line, maybe 569, and then rejects the washout level. The washout level is going to be closer towards 566. So we have a little bit of a range here, about a $4 range, and this is something definitely to watch. The average true range right now is staying in the hourly about $1.53, so we can expect maybe about $1.53 up, and $1.53 could also come down. On the daily, we have about 5 points. So 5 points is the average of the move, and we have about a 4-point range there. So we'll see what happens there in the SPY. Will it take the downside move? Tesla down there towards the 245, hits that 245 and bounces right near the level that I gave just a second ago. 245.80 was a low there, and it's at 245.71 where I put it, and it's already bouncing there. So 245, that's the gap fill area, guys. So I'm gonna look to see if the gap fill area holds today, and then maybe Tesla could even turn around, right? Doesn't mean that it's completely done, but it definitely bounced near that level. We'll see if it comes back to the VWAP 252. All right, guys, getting ready here for the open. Be safe out there. And of course, if you guys want to add anything to the watch list, let me know. I'll keep watch on that watch list. And you guys can always make watch lists and try to find different ways to take advantage. And don't forget, there's different ways that you guys can add things here. You can right click on the screen there and look at all the things that you can add, right? There's a lot of things that you guys can start to kind of add here and kind of take a look at, right? You guys can watch percentage change overall, the high, the low, the previous close, very important outlook to have, right? So we'll see what happens now as we start to get open here, but definitely smash the like, guys. We'll keep a watch to see what happens. And I can go ahead and kind of move this over here. Let me move this over, add the watch list here. Then I'll take a look to see what happens there. Just need to kind of make it a little smaller here so I can scroll down on it. All right, getting ready for the open here, guys. It's 9:29. The market's about to open in just about 30 seconds. So be safe out there, traders. Get ready to rock and roll. And like always, we'll see what we can come up with. Humana on the downside. Big, big, big. Nice trade, my friend, out there for 25 shares. Look at that action. It went down to 210. What a trade there, man. You're able to nail that at what, 7 in the morning? Hey, shout out to you, man. Nice trade there in Humana. This had to be news related. What did I miss there in Humana? The bell's about to ring. Let's go trade. Don't worry about that. Let's go get after it. But good trade there, my friend. Let's see what we can do today. All right, yin up, of course. Billy, we'll keep an eye on it. API here already starting to make a quick pop, now back towards 6. We'll see what happens on that API. No trade on that. We'll see what we can come up with here today. VIX's first move is to the upside. The SPY, we'll see what happens. First move to the downside here. We'll see if it's a fake out on the downside, or will we get some bounce? Google to the upside. What I tell you guys, if they sell one of the major names, a lot of the times they're going to go buying another one Why? To try to keep the SPY and the Q higher, right? So in this case, they're buying up Google here, and they're selling them all the other ones, right? So you'll see here, Amazon's slightly up. I'll give them that, right? But look at Meta down, Lilly down, Tesla down, AVGO down. So Google definitely one to watch here, guys. Already to 168 and starting to push there towards the 169. I talked about how 170 was in play right back to yesterday's high. We're pushing there. We're at 168.68. We'll look to see if we make it to 170 here. But definitely Google, nice little action right off the bottoming on the 15-minute. Now a nice little push. And right before the open, what happened there? It did a little bit of a fake out to 167.20s. Just a little fake out right before it did the pop. Buy straight down out the gates there. That's going to affect Tesla. Probably break that 245.70 at least for a second or two. So we'll see what happens with that one. Tesla retracing really fast. That's going to hurt Ford. That's going to hurt GM. That we're just starting to make the move up. So GM is trying to make the move up with this one right now. But I'll be watching for these. These eventually could turn to the downside today. Taking a look at the SPY overall, energy down, pretty much everything down. Real estate and technology, slightly green here from the open, but it's just slight. I'm looking at the basic materials. That's another area to look at. I'm seeing copper up this morning. I'm seeing agricultural inputs, gold up this morning, aluminum. Let's take a look to see if steel can get a lift there. Cleveland Cliff here already getting a little spike there to 1310s. This one definitely on the radar, guys. I've talked about this multiple times, how it has the potential to make a run to 14. So we'll see if this can get towards the 14s today. Already pushing off the 13s right now. We'll see if it starts making a move towards the upside. A lot of it, I think, will depend if the market can start coming back. SHIP is starting to try to make a little bit of a move. I'll keep an eye on these guys. What about the railroads? I also have those on the alert, right? So I got to keep these on alert and watch what happens there. Let me add one on the alert here. Add one to the watch list. All right, so let's take a look at what's up and what's down. SHIP up, XLE up, Cleveland Cliff up at 1311. So keeping an eye on that. Railroads. Will the railroads move today? I think I like this trade, guys. I really do. I'm looking at this one as a really good potential trade here. And I think that the reason why is that all the strike, like kind of volume and all that, the business could all move to the railroads. So we're up already about 10 cents, looking for a little bit of a retracement here, but just trying to watch the other moves out here. Trying to see that this SPY can catch a little bit of a love and get a little bounce. Morgan Stanley straight down out the gates here. That's one thing I'm definitely still watching. The financials leaking. They leaked yesterday, pretty good amount. They're leaking already this morning. JPM down a little bit there. Bank of America down. Citi right back down here. So yesterday we were watching the rejections of the 62, and now we're seeing rejections even further. So taking a look to see if we can get some type of up action, and then I can take a look for the shorts. Bank of America, nice little turnaround there on the downside there. Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley still up pretty high compared to yesterday. It was it broke a little bit, but it didn't really break down yesterday. So I'll keep a watch on this. Morgan Stanley is still holding on here. Say 103.50s as we get continued downside in the SPY would be something to watch there. SPY still trying to approach that 566 level, but it's slowing down here at the bottom, showing that we could get a little bit of a bounce. Google pulled back to the 168, so you get an opportunity here off the VWAP. If you think the market's going to come right back to the upside, this is an opportunity, I feel like, in Google. VIXI still staying strong there, guys. Is trying to approach the upside there. Got to 1340s. A nice little breakout right out the gates here from 1322s to 1340s there. Didn't expect to see it, but it's staying strong. That just goes to show us that the market is staying weak right now. I'm still looking for retracements on the VIXI. Right now, it's in the strength mode, and I'm just watching the action. It's still staying strong right now. When this starts to flip, this would be something to watch to see if we get the upside in the market. Right now, downside still in and playing. CSX starting to make the lift there. I kind of like this one today, so I'm really watching the hourly. It's pulled back to the 34.50s multiple times, so I can bet off of that 34.50s now. I like it here, guys. I might step up to the plate in CSX today. All right, let's go to the main account because on this one I have to go a little bit bigger sizing. That's the biggest thing with CSX. All right, so let's see if I can get retracements to 60 here. All right, trying to get a move back down closer towards the VWAP and over here. So looking to go ahead and get first entry towards like 60, 500 shares, and then I'll add towards 53s and 50s. Looking for a little pullback in CSX. UNP also making a move there, so I can take a look at multiple of these names. And NSC is another one that I'd give, but the spread is wide on that. So that's why I like the CSX, as the spread's a little tighter here. I'm already missing the move as it starts to get to the 70s here, so a little bit frustrated that didn't get the 60s there, but I can't jump and chase, right? I got to look for the pullback and try to get the entry there. Looking for some pullback in CSX, but it just keeps going higher, guys. This one's a hard one now as I keep seeing it go higher. I'm telling you the truth. I want to chase, but I ain't going to do it. Try to stick to my golden rules there of not chasing on this one, but the setup's there. So we'll see what happens, guys. Stay safe out there, guys. You guys know where it's at. Let's keep it going here. All right, catching up with you guys. What's up out there, guys? Watch the FOMO, definitely. SHIP starting to make the move, guys. CSX starting to make the move. So SHIP now towards 12.14s. This one could get going here, guys. On the hourly, still looking pretty decent. I'd like to pull back to 12 and then look to see this take off towards like 12.30s. But we're just talking to shippers, right? I mean, just keeping an eye on that, guys. And Cleveland Cliff, guys, missing this move. Now to 13.24s, and this was on the playbook, and the playbook said watch right out the gates for a move towards that, and I'm missing it here, guys. I will say that this should have been a trade that I have on already. A nice little move there in Cleveland Cliff. We talked about this yesterday. SHIP also moving. So 3 of the names that I had on my watch list doing pretty well. VIXI's up towards 13.47. SHIP looks like it wants to get going here. We'll keep an eye on it. CSX 34.75, still looking for some pullback. Didn't get the buy, put it out at 34.60s. I'll see if I get the pullback. Right now I'm canceling that because I'm just missing the move. I need to see this get back there, and then I can take the shot. So pullbacks towards the VWAP, that's when I'll take the shot there in the railroads. Buy in the queue going lower. That's going to help the VIXI start to go higher. Look at the 13.50s now, man. VIXI continuing to the upside. What a spike there, and definitely just hitting some people hard. Oh, man, I wish I had some of the VIXI on the swing, man, from yesterday, but I didn't take it. I just didn't trade that much yesterday. I kind of wrapped up the day after I was already in the green, but, man, the VIXI, strong. SPY trying to break that 566 low. So let's take a look to see if this is where it starts to balance out and gets a little bit of a bounce. If not, the takedown's on. Even Google going big red back towards 167. So just not being able to hold on there. Tesla bounced off the 245.70 though. We'll see if it holds the 250 VWAP. If not, it could come right back to that 245 and take it out. SPY just continuing to go down here. Now we start to break into it. Let's see what happens here. CSX is pulling back, giving me that opportunity. I'm going to take that opportunity in CSX in just a second here, but just watching the market because it's pretty down, right? It just broke 566, looking for recoveries, but I don't look that bueno right now. All right, nice little look there on CSX. It did get to the 60s here, so I'm trying to take it here. SPY still looks like it wants lower, so I'm looking for a little bit of a pullback. SPY just keep coming down here. Looking at industrials, they are in the red, and that's a big reason why I'm not just jumping to the railroads, because the railroads don't look too bad. But the truth is that I need industrials overall, XLI, to start looking a little bit better. It is retracing right now and looking pretty heavy. GE down, RTX down. Remember I talked about how Lockheed Martin was an opportunity. RTX and Lockheed Martin need to turn to the upside. If not, this is going to keep dragging the XLI. So you can see how much of a drag RTX is right now and Lockheed Martin. So just watching those. CXX still holding in there, man. I want to take it, but with the SPY the way it is, it's very hard. SPY now down to 565. VIXI continuing 1356, guys. In a second, I'm going to probably be shorting the VIXI. I know this is starting to get risky because I've taken the VIXI to the upside a lot. But a lot of the times I get about 60, 70 cents on the spike. Yesterday, we got about what? It was about, I would say about 90 cents on the spike. So somewhere between 60 and 90 cents, we should be looking to see if we start to see a little bit of a turnaround there. 50 cents on the first one on day one. So we're now looking at it what's called like pretty much a day one, day two, day three, day four move. We're getting towards a resistance here. So that's what I'm looking at. Do we stop around this level here? This is the 1370s that I can kind of start to risk off of and look to see if we get a pullback back towards 13 or maybe 1275 if the market can turn around. Right now, market's looking pretty heavy and looking like it wants down, right? Look at the SPY now towards 565, 60s. So definitely taking the downside action there. Lilly's still up a little bit there, looking into the financials as Citi starts to go down here. Energy has pulled back a little bit, not as much as I wanted to see on the hourly for XOM. So I was looking for more like a 120 pullback, not getting it there, guys. So that's still not looking that great there. MPC is a little bit better, right? Now you're starting to get a little bit deeper pullback on that. PSX also pulling back there. So we're going to get some pullback opportunities there. Valero also quick pullback on that one. Now down towards that 134s. I would love to see this break into that level. Let's say towards 133s. If it gets into that 133s, I'm more than willing to swing on Valero because this could easily start to work its way back. So I'll be watching that level. Take a look at it on the daily. You can see how you're coming back to these. It don't look too bad. We'll see what happens there in Valero. Multiple attempts to get above the 140 in Valero. 132 as support. Man. VIXI now to 1360s. CSX still trying to hang in there, guys. CSX is still trying to hang in there. It's just literally just hanging in there, trying to get the up move with the market if it wants to go. Ship right off of that 12 level. So a little part of me is thinking about this one, but the problem is the market still hasn't had a really good day. And if the market's not going to have a good day, I don't expect to see the shipping play go green. Right. And so I'm continuing to watch that. And Zim's back at 24, right? So there's an opportunity here on Zim. If you guys like Zim today in the shipping area, right? So there's that opportunity. Starbucks in the red there. Just doesn't feel like it's the day with the SPY just continuing on the downside. I'm trying to get through this downside open and see if we can start making a move back to the upside. Doesn't look like it right now. I'll tell you that much. Definitely heavy around there. Everything in the red from the open tells me watch out because the downside is in right now. Now, what will bounce? Well, you could start seeing some kind of names like AT&T actually get a move to the upside as this is a safety trade, right? Safety trade is going to be played in just a second, I think, as we start to get this up move because traders are starting to get a little bit weary out there. So we'll see what happens here. Even Walmart down, Coke down, even the defensive trades are down, right? Lockheed Martin down, pulling back. So we'll see what happens with this one. Lockheed Martin starts to come back up, and it's going to help pick up the railroads. So I'm watching that, but the market needs to start coming back. Yeah, no. All right, in the main account, willing to take this railroad to try to get this to come back, but watching an eye out there, guys. Where's my Dutch bros, bro? What's good, Wisdom? How we doing out there? It's good to see you. I could use some Dutch bros right now. Yeah, the estimate there. I don't really stress too much on deliveries. You can see they actually made more than the deliveries in the estimate, but it still get a down hit there. Watching to see if the SPY could bounce. I don't mind taking CSX here, but I need the market to bounce. Lockheed Martin going to the upside here, guys. Might take my shot now as I start to see some balancing. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take a shot here on the railroads here, guys. All right, starting to go long on the railroads here. I have 1,000 shares of CSX. Willing to even get up to like maybe 2,000 shares. I'm just trying to see this start to bounce off the VWAP there. All right, looking good now. I have 57s. We're in the 60s. It starts to hold here. I'm going to look to risk off the 34.50s here. All right, seeing some buys come in there. I'm stepping up. I got 1,500 shares as we start to go up through towards like the 34.70s. That's where I'm going to add another 1,000 shares there. Put a stop limit at there. Put a stop at 34.70s. Add at 34.65s. All right, it's out there. I'm stepping up. I'm trying to get after it here in CSX. I got 1,500 shares. Can let this try to push. It could go all the way to 36. That's a $400 trade. And if I get that ad at 34.70s, we could be talking 500, 600. So taking the shot there, guys. Now going to go switching over to the limited account and taking a look at the VIXI short. It just went down to 1340s. So I'm going to look for a little bounce back towards 1350s here. 1350s, 1355s. And then I'm going to try to get this short back towards 1318s. Could have definitely got short there at 1350s just a second ago, but was trying to get this other trade on, right? Now CSX going to the 65s. That looks great. I just need a little bit of a attempted move here for the VIXI. I just need a little bounce there. Come back towards 1350s. I'll take a shot there. But I don't know if I'll get the 1350s now. Look at that, how it comes back down. This is what I was kind of looking for. And look at the SPY come right back up. Ripping, guys. Google's one that I can look at to try to maybe take a trade on the swing account right now. I'm going to go for the Google swing. All right, just got Google on the swing account. Risking about 50 bucks on that, just a starter there to see if it comes back down. I put a risk at the, well, I'll do it at 166.50s. We'll see if this starts to work its way back. Ship is one that I can watch also. Cleveland Cliff is also another one to watch. Look at that VWAP bounce on Cleveland Cliff, guys. Cleveland Cliff, one definitely to watch. Talked about how steel could be that way to maybe try to catch this move, guys. Look at Steel Dynamics also. Nice little lift there in Steel Dynamics. So NUE is another one that I take a look at. Nucor, right? Already starting to get a little bit of a lift here. Not a bad little move there. This is a pretty good move there in steel today. So I'd also take a look at the shippers. If we're going to get the up move, it's going to have potential. So I think today is going to be that day that I'd be looking at. Zim was just off the support there, right? Look at it. We were looking at it at 24, looking to see if it started to get the move. It did start to get the move. Now I take a look at Ship. That's the one that I think could really kind of spike. It's a very low float stock, so you got to be very careful with this. I'm going to go ahead and try to get after it in the limited account and might be pushing myself. But hey, this is one that I definitely want to keep an eye out for and see if we can get a big shipper move, especially with the market ripping back to the upside like it is right now. Got to keep an eye on it. Even City to the upside tells me be careful out there. But I'm watching it, guys. I'm watching it. VIXI hasn't made a move back, so I'm looking to see if the SPY pulls back here. That could give us a double top at the top there. Canceling the VIXI trade right now. I'm just looking around to see where the volume is. There's not enough volume in this one right now, so I'm just going to keep an eye on it. I'm going to wait for the next move to start. And I'll see if the spike comes there and the volume starts to come in. I need some volume to start to come in on this. Nat, though, getting the lift there too. So it just shows me the shippers are at the top end of my watch list. So that's starting to show up there. CSX into that 3470. So we'll look to see if I get that ad in the main account, but I'm doing good in that. Car still not doing too bad. We'll keep an eye on that. I do think it can make a move into the 100s. Still watching Pakar to see if I can have a piece of that. Let's go ahead. I'm going to add that back in the swing account. Risk off the bottom of today, 97.23. So about $1 risk there in Pakar. Might not have enough there. I'm trying to grab it right now. Google takes too much buying power, man. Gotta get some more buying power on this swing account. All right, just took there 50 shares there for Pakar. We'll risk down towards like 97.30s today. Look to see if I get a takeoff there. All right, still got Google also. Seeing cities start to push back, so that just goes to show me, guys. So definitely taking a look into that. Zim, Starbuck, just taking a look at them, seeing if they're going to start getting that volume that I need to get the push. Really low volume in these names right now. CSX trying to make that next step up here. Cleveland Cliff was the move, man. Taken to the upside. Steel, baby. Steel. Nucor also, nice little lift there. As X trying to give it to me today. MT. Taking a look into steel. What's doing well there? Cleveland Cliff is leading the action. But at least I gave the best one. Question is, are you guys nailing that Cleveland Cliff? What's going on out there, guys? You guys see the list on the bottom? All right, what's going on, traders? How we doing out there? It's good to see you guys. Where's my Dutch bros? Where is it? About to order a coffee, man. SMCI, one that I'm looking at also, team. VIXI now down to 1330, so still down at the bottom here. We could still get the SPY to come down one more time, but I'm still looking at this as an opportunity. Now the question is, do you think we're going to have a comeback Tuesday, or are we going to just tumble right back down? Because if we tumble right back down, the VIXI's right back up there. I'm going to go to my railroad trade as that's deep into the green here, and I might just get another ad here, so... Yep, I got the ad now, guys. So I got to watch this VIXI to see if it comes. That wouldn't be the best for the CSX trade, but just keeping an eye on the SPY here to see if we're going to make a move right back down to the low, or we're going to push above here. It's a big level for us, and that could affect this VIXI trade. You could be watching this, right? I could be making this trade on my other account, on the limited account, back to the upside, right? If I want to trade it to the upside. But today I'm feeling a little bit like the turnaround Tuesday already. Nice little spike right here at the gates. I'd like to see it go back to 1350s and then reject that. So I'll be looking to see if we get that rejection. Playing it right now to the 1350s isn't the best move there either, because I only get 15 cents to the upside. Could risk 10 cents on the downside, but that's still like a 1.5 trade. I like to trade that 3-to-1, 4-to-1 outlook. We'll see what happens here. SPY looks like it wants to go higher, and that can knock the VIXI right back down. So let's see if the SPY can get that move. And if it does, SMCI would be one that I'd be keeping an eye out for a quick little move to the upside here. It's just hanging off on the VWAP. AMD also trying to make a little quick move back on the upside, and Tesla could whip right back, right? It's at 243s now, though. Definitely took a whopping hit today, guys, and just washed some of the bulls. CSX looks like it wants to make that next step up. That's going to be looking really good in my main account. Let's see if I can get that. This is a smaller name, but now I have 2,500 shares. So definitely making a nice little attempted move here. And if I could get a bigger move here towards the high, right? I'm looking at the hourly chart now and trying to take a look to see where we can see the next high, right? High comes into play at the 3480s. Then we can start making our way to 35. 35 is in play for me today. And that would be the move. That would be the sell. That would be $950 there at that 35. So 975 actually right on the dot. So that's what I'm looking at right now. I wouldn't mind taking, let's say, 600 or 700 on this. Let's see what happens. Bigger trade on CSX. All right, just watching it here, guys. Did get some bigger buys in the 3470s. So that's actually pretty good. Outlook there. You can see it's at 955.23. So it was the same order and there were buys. Could hold break even here, or maybe hold towards like 100 in profit and take 100 in profit and then get right back in. Those are things that I can think about here. But really what I'm going for is the SPY ripping to the upside here. I'll show you guys that. SPY coming back here already on the 5 minutes. So the outlook is that it could come right back to the bottom. That's where the bears are looking. I'm looking for a recovery Tuesday where this goes and now it goes straight to 569. That could be the up move that comes and catches the move. Now look at the safety names making the move today. I was talked about this name yesterday, Lamb Weston. It was on the red yesterday, starting to catch back here, guys. Walgreens Boots Alliance, Caesars Entertainment. Of course, Caesars is going to be moving with why a lot of that kind of casinos are moving right now. Wynn, right? Take a look at Wynn's move, man. Remember LVS was one that we talked about when it was right here on that Wednesday. And that's already gone 20% from there. So it's been a big move there in the casinos. We'll see what happens now. I'm getting a little bit of a pullback here in CSX. I'm still in it, looking for the move. We'll see what happens here. All right, looking around, guys, to see what's making a move, what I can keep going after. Now Chevron into the green. That will I'll put it on alert there for you guys. Chevron now getting into the green, XLE recovering there. So Valero is going to be looking good off that hourly long pullback where it washed out some traders and now starting to get some lift. It's right back above VWAP. I'd look for one more attempt down there today. Wash this out one more time and then I'm willing to take it, but it's starting to climb back. That's one thing's for certain as we start to take a look at some kind of oil plays. And of course, XOM is going to be the leader, and you can see that it's the leader because it's higher from the VWAP, right? That's leading the action, especially in the XLE. SPY looking like it wants to maybe pull back a little bit here, guys. So the VIXI could take off to the upside here. So at this point, I'm thinking about maybe taking a bet in the smaller account, the limited account, to see if this could go right back up there and actually break out to the upside here. I'd have to hold it really, really tight here. So keeping an eye on it. Let's see what happens. Will the SPY just come down here? You got that attempt right now. Willing to risk off the 26 here. Be about 6 cents here. So you did get some volume to come in right there. Some traders tried to trade it. I could tell. And that nice little volume pop there tells me something right here. Now the question is, will we get that spike down in the SPY? Or will it just hold here? If it holds here, it stuffs the bears. So I'm watching it right now on the 567. This is going to be the look right here. You can get an undercut on the 567. I think that's possible, right? Like right now, you're getting that undercut where you just went to what? Where's the low there? 96, right? Look at the spike in the VIX, though. There's the spike towards the 40s. So missing the trade right now. You can still jump into it at the 36, 37 spot. But watching to see if the SPY does a spike down here. The SPY spikes up, the VIXI could come right back down, right? And so those are all things to think about, right? There you guys see it already, the VIXI spiking back there towards the 1343s. Q's still making an up move here. So it's going to be very vital that it doesn't kind of does a breakout here. The bears will get stuffed if it starts to push and breaks out. SMCI just took off to the upside, guys. So that's one that I'd be keeping an eye out for. Of course, I talked about that one early on in the day. This one could be pushing today. And a lot of this was the split. The split kind of did nothing yesterday. But what do I see here? I see a lot of bottoming action where traders could have got in at $40. And now you're ripping off of that undercut right at that 40. So I'd look for pullbacks now back down to the 40-30s to maybe play here, but looks like a really nice rip there to the upside for SMCI. SPY still a little choppy here. I think we might still get that little down hit there. VIXI right now going back towards the 1350s. I talked about how this would be the level that I could maybe look for the short opportunity here off the 44s, the 55 risk. I'm going to go ahead and take that shot here as I don't see the market kind of continuing on the breakdown, but really we don't know what could happen on this. Now that's for certain. I did get a move there to 47. I'd like it at 50. So I'm going to put the limit there at 50, and then I'll risk off the 60 here. But I got to keep an eye on it. We'll see what happens here. Ship's still holding in well there. And now SMCI to 40.79. That's starting to push. CSX down there, so I got to go protect that in just a second here, but just keeping an eye on it. SPY looking like it wants that upside move. I might have to jump into the 40s here. Yeah, I might have to jump at the 40s here. Yeah, I'm already seeing that downside come in here. I'm trying to get 1340s on the VIXI to the short side, but I don't think I'll get it. I have to chase it here if I want it. SPY just ripped to the upside, so that makes me feel confident about the CSX trade. I might actually go bigger in that. Trying to get the VIXI to come back there and hit me in the limited account. SPY just taking off here, guys. Might have to chase here. Don't want to chase, but I do see that downside coming in pretty quickly there in the VIXI. I would love to see another little spike there. Come get me a fill. I'm seeing ship above the 1211s and starting to get the volume a little bit there. So this is actually one that doesn't look too bad here for it to start making a move. MSOS, I got out yesterday. Got to keep an eye on that today to see what happens with it. See if it starts to come back through 7. SPY, nice little push to the upside there. Looking to see if we can get up into the 3440s, 1340s one more time here. I have an order out at 1340s. Hard trading action right now. I'll tell you guys that. We'll see what happens there. I canceled the order there on the VIXI. I'm going to go to the main account and go focus on CSX. It's a bigger trade, so. Focusing on CSX right now, traders. We'll see what happens. It's definitely one of those days where it's tough. It's tough. Still looking for this 15 minutes to kind of hold and go back to green. Green, it opened at 58s. Needs to get back through that 58 to get green. So 3460s, back towards 3465s, even 3470s up there. That's where I want to add another 1,000 shares on this CSX if it starts to make the move up there. SPY trying to recover here. You can see it's up there. It didn't get to the 569 though. It's definitely staying on the resistance right here around 568.30s. And you see that get towards the 568.50s and start to the upside. VIXY right back towards that 1340s, so could get towards that 1350s really quickly here. You can see it's starting to approach that trend line here for a breakout. Will the SPY break right back down, guys? It's going to be a tough one, I'll tell you that. SMCI to 41. That thing just pushed. Will the SPY make the next step up here? Q's and SPY trying to recover here, but no recovery just yet. Trying to see if we can get one more like kind of break to the upside here. All right, traders, how we doing out there? I'm going to check a little bit in on the news, seeing what's going on. It's the time where you actually have to pay attention to the news to see if there's anything that's being mentioned, Fed included. We need to keep an eye out to see what's going on out there, guys. All right, looking into the news, there's not much there. Not much I'm seeing right now, at least. All right, just seeing a whole bunch of talks on the port strike and things like that. Ford's third quarter sales up 0.7 and GM overtakes it in EVs is one of the headlines I'm seeing out there right now. What's going on, guys? API killing it. Oh, don't talk to me about that one, Wisdom. Don't talk to me about API. Had this thing at 650s, man. It's now down to 530s. Ship took off there, guys. Ship. Now towards the 1220s here. So still really starting to push. And what I like about it is that it's pushing with no volume. Like essentially just making a move with no volume. And so the liquidity is hard on this one, but it could just take off. And then next thing you know, you're looking back at it and it's up, you know, just an insane amount. So I'd keep an eye on it, the shipping and port names, but they're moving a little bit already here. I was watching Zim a little earlier and you can see how Zim's staying strong. And that also tells me something. SBOK is in the red though. That's one thing I will mention. CSX getting the pressure on that one, guys. Got to go protect that one. Got to go focus on that one because it is red here. Got to keep an eye on it. It is down there towards the 40s. And it looks like we are getting an attempt on the hourly lows here. So got to hold off here. But, man, it's tough here, right? SPY could come right back down, and then it would really cut me out on this CSX trade. SPY trying to make that up move now. All right, guys. Just looking at it here and thinking about taking the VIXY to the short side of things. Nice rejection there. So back through the 45s, of course, that would be a kind of a up move here. So I'm going to risk $100 and take a shot here. All right, just took it there, guys. I'm going to risk $100, and this is in the limited account. Trying to risk $100 on this VIXI. I'm actually shorting it here, expecting the market to rip to the upside here. Let's see if we can get it. If it rips through 569, you're just coming back on the day. I'm still holding on to that CSX because of that too. As the SPY goes higher and the Qs go higher, the XLI can start making an up move, and that's going to help me get out of this situation. We'll see what happens there. And what do you see in XLI? You see the shipping ports. So that's going to help those shippers start to make the move. So I can take a look also at SHIP, right? It's not a bad one to watch. We'll see what happens with this. If it starts to make a move, keeping an eye also on the level 2 action out there. Another alert there for SHIP as it starts to make the move here. Keeping an eye on it. But seeing some volume now setting up for 1250s. It could be in 1250s in a hurry here. So just keeping a very close eye on it. Doesn't look too bad. It starts to make the move. It's just such a small move right now, but might have to take a shot here, guys. SMCI towards 41 now. Yin doing well too. We'll see what happens if China names start to push to the upside here. Cleveland Cliff holding on towards the up end, and it's still looking great, man. That was one that I definitely should have been playing today. It's up there towards the 1336. A little bit easier play on that one too, right off the 13. SPY now looking a little heavy here. We'll see if it does get shorted into a little bit. Didn't make the move to the 568.50s. Not a quick run. So you can see here on the 1 minute how it's just like a quick move back up, but it could always be a short, right? And so you always got to be protective of your action out there. And you can see how the VIX is coming back on me right there. That just goes to show you this is definitely trying to trap both sides of the trade now. Now you got to be careful because you have both sides of the trades available to you. You got to be careful for big rips to the upside and big moves to the downside. It's going to be one or the other. And I know that sounds dumb because it's just trading, right? But the truth is that's what it's trying to do. It's trying to kind of stop out the bulls and stop out the bears in the same type of trade. Ship now towards 1228 and missing that move, right? It should have just maybe just taken the shot there off the 12s on the pullback, but hey, could be already selling into the move, right? That's the important thing with SHIP, but the problem is a low volume there. How's Zim doing? Zim, can he get another lift? We'll see. All right, what other ones can be playing off of that? Walmart, I talked about how that could be a negative down move off of what happens because they get a lot of their products through what's going on in the situation right now in the strike. So we could see more red in Walmart today. So one to think about is as it's slightly above VWAP there. VIXI pushing me strong right now, guys. Might get me cut out there in the limited account. I'm taking a little bit of a shot here. We'll see what happens. All right, 10-14, guys. Things slowing down a little bit here as it gets ready for another pickup. Be careful out there, traders. Could see the SPY take a little bit of a down move here. The VIXI's looking like it wants to prop up here. Of course, I'm actually short on it right now. I was battling myself on shorting or longing it. That just goes to show you guys the edge right now is very limited, and I got to be careful with today. Can't take too big of a hit. Just got to be smart on that end. The edge is limited today because it's just mixed noise right now on the back and forth. Wheeler ripping. Dane, I can't touch that one, man. We know that one. All right, large order just came in on gold. All right, there you go. I love gold. CSX. Putting the pressure on me, guys. Down big on CSX. Need to see it get picked up off this 45 here. It's hard to watch two accounts, man. I'll tell you guys that right now. It's hard to watch two accounts. I'm moving back and forth, but it isn't as easy as it looks. My biggest thing is I don't like to put the stops. And in this case, I need to put a stop because I need to go watch both trades. But I'm trying to do that. As you guys can clearly see it. Be bouncing back and forth right now. Thinking about opening a hedge here. And trying to think about doing this more and more, guys. And so the hedge would be to short the SPY here. So short the SPY, let's say 100 shares, right? 100 shares right now at 567.80s, let's say it, right? If I short the SPY at 567.80s right now, and I hold off the high of the day, I'm risking maybe 30, 40 bucks. But if the market comes down back to the low, it gives me a reward of like 260. So this is the idea in the long run of how I want to take some more trades. I want to try to do a little bit more of pairs trading and do a little bit more of that understanding, right? It's very difficult. It's not as easy as it seems, but it's something that I'm thinking about to be looking into, right? Didn't do it, didn't open the trade right now, but something that I'm thinking about, trying to add some tools in my tool belt, right? A lot of it, I need to be thinking about this because it's always about what we can add into the tool belt, right? One of them is to do that. Putting in a stop, R.A. Wilson, is an easy way to get hunted, man. I talk about this all the time. It's like playing poker with your hand open. Putting stops is exactly that. It's showing everybody your hand and letting them decide it, right? Or letting the market maker decide it. That's why I don't believe in setting the stop and actually having a stop placed. I can tell you that right now, at least in my trading, I don't believe in that unless it's kind of the swing and I'm far away from the action where the algos can't just spread it out and come and get me. So I think that that's one thing to think about. And traders, you need to be thinking about that, right? It's up to you, right? You can play stops. That's what they're for, right? The truth is finding out how you want to trade it. To me, it's like trading a open hand, right? At that point, I let everybody know where I want out and where I want in, things like that. When I'm just in the position, it can't know, right? The machines can't know where I want out or where I want in, right? So I think things like that is important, right? I know it is. However, if you're trading two accounts, better to be safe than sorry. 1000%. RA, you don't have you're not wrong in your point that you're trying to make here. It's more, what can I do, right? And so the idea here would be to have two order boxes in two different accounts. That you can do, right? Right now I have it set up there where it switches over, right? If I hit one, it switches over the whole account. But you see this little green thing on the top right here? You can take that off and then you could put two order boxes to kind of set this up, right? This is just a different way to look at it, right? So that's what I'm thinking about here. That's another way to think about it. I'll show you guys that in a second. I don't want to be kind of messing with my platform right now, but let's take a look at that before we leave today as some ways that we can work on trading the two account game, right? Hey, that's what it's all about, guys. Good conversation though, R.A. Wilson. Appreciate the comments. All right, guys, now we're starting to see this come back. SPY ripping to the upside. So looking good there in my trade here for the limited account. That starts to go into the green there. It's at 85. At this point, what can I do? There's two ways to approach it. I can add and hold break even, or I can just hold break even at this point. I'm just going to hold break even at this point, right? Setting myself for either a bigger win or a bigger loss here, or no loss, right? So especially on an account that I'm red on today, red 58, Could take the money and run right now, but I'm going to go protect CSX. Now I set a stop, break even. It's a little bit different than setting the stop in the red. Now I'm showing my hand, but where am I showing my hand? Right where I am. If you want to come back and get me, break even, come and get me. But other than that, I'm not going to be trying to show my hand more than that, right? And a lot of this is when I start to get like 7 to 10 cents away from my entry. All right, got to go protect here, CSX. They're hunting my order as quickly as that, guys. As quickly as I put it, they're hunting it. All right, CSX, I got to go protect here because it's getting really close to cutting through that 45. Back towards the 42, and I'm going to take the hit today, guys. It might be about 475 on that trade, but that's what it's about, guys. The truth is that as you start to open up bigger and bigger, you're going to take the hits, right? So now it's about the SPY not breaking like below this 568 and starting to come right back towards the 569. We made that attempt. Now we're pulling back. I got to see a double bottom happen here or hold. If not, going to cut it. VIX's coming back to stop me out, break even. A lot of that is the SPY coming down. Remember the hedge that I talked about? The hedge would have actually held on. And I think that that's what we need to be thinking about in the long run. How can I hedge some of this? Because that's what the big sizing is all about, right? So I think I could have broke even out on this and got back in it, let's say at the 60, 65s. That's another way to think about it, right? I need to always be thinking about how I make improvements. This is one of the ways. Right now, it's a mixed market, right? Because you're getting the climb back, but now you're starting to see the VIXy back to 40s. So I'm out break even on the other account. We'll look to get back in if I need to, but I need to see the market trying to recover here, because if not, it's going to cut me out of CSX real quick. Apple back at rejected the 9 EMA. I will say that. All right, doesn't look good here, guys. I'm starting to get a cut down here in CSX. I'm about to get out here as it is cutting me out right now, guys. So I'm just trying to manage it here. If I can get a couple pennies to come up here, I'll go ahead and I'll cut it. But right now, I'm just looking to get out of it. Definitely seeing the pressure right now, guys. SPY coming down fast there. Needed to hold this support. If not, it's going to cut down and I'll just be out. I'll take a big hit here. That's the biggest. That's the thing that I've been trying to deal with more and more, right? As you expand in sizing, the net P&Ls move on both sides, right? Like yesterday was easily able to make 400, but really I need to be making more like $1,000. That's what this trade was set up for. It was set up for like a $900 gain. So I need to be thinking about ways to kind of manage that, right? How do I get around that? It hasn't been easy, guys. The size up process has been hard, right? I'm still in the green in the account, but it ain't easy, guys. And I've been trying to learn a little bit more about how I can kind of deal with the sizing, right? That's what it's all about, especially as you start to get to the bigger and bigger, let's say now 2,500 shares, things like this. You got to learn how to manage it. A lot of it could be getting out and getting back in, but the truth is I don't have all day to trade. So I got to take some shots and seeing what happens here. If I had all day to trade, I'd get out a lot more, break even, and try to take some more trades throughout the day. The truth is it's kind of hard to do. I can't be here all day. I don't think neither can you guys. Some of you guys can, but I know I can't be here all day. CSX still kind of on the downside. I'm still watching to see the SPY can hold on here. You're seeing some volume come in there. The Qs tried to pretty much a double top there. Let's see if the Qs come back towards that. This is that attempted washout, right? So we'll see if we get it or not. The VIX could come back down, and then if the VIX comes down back towards, let's say, 1330s, that's where I'll go reshorting it in the limited account. But only if the SPY's back towards like 568.50s, and I'm starting to see the downside come in the VIXy. SPY trying to bounce a little bit here. Let's see if the SPY can bounce and go back to the 568. going to look for a trend line move back up into this spot, the 3460s. It'll look good if it gets back up into that spot. Still trying to trade it within this hourly range. So the CSX is just pretty much this hourly range type of trade. As long as it holds support here, it doesn't look too bad. The takedown, it could be towards 3420s. I always got to keep that in mind. Looking to see if this 15-minute candle can turn back to the green. That's 48 on the upside. So put it to the 5 minutes just to watch it, right? That would be on this next 4 minutes. Let's see if we get back through the 48. SPY trying to make that little bit up move back. So is the Qs. Let's go to it. I'll show you guys it on my other screen here. Let's put up the multi-chart. All right, they call this the grid, right? You guys could take a look at it, right? And you guys see multiple trades on here. If you guys want me to put another trade on here, I can definitely do it. But here's the SPY, here's the Qs. This is what I've been watching a lot. Here's the SHIB, right? You guys can see it. Here's the VIXY coming back down. Here's Apple starting to climb back here. But that doesn't look too bad there. Let me see. SMCI still holding that 41. Pretty well there. Let me take a look at Google. How's that doing? Starting to climb back a little bit there. Probably cut me out. Yeah, it just cut me out at that 166.50s. So out of the swing, and now it could start to work its way back. We'll see if it gets back above 167. That's one to watch. Look at the Qs starting to come back there. That's why I'd also keep an eye out on like an XLK trade today. And SHIB still doing pretty well there. I know that it's not, something that a lot of people are watching, but SHIB is still doing well. I talked about how XLK could be in play today. That's actually done pretty well here. And it's trying to break through the high with the Qs. So let's see if it does that and keeps pushing. So those are trades definitely to keep an eye out for. We'll see what happens there. Cleveland Cliff 1330s, XLE in the green. Also NVIDIA now into the green and doing pretty decent there. 1% up. Chevron up 1%. SHIB at 12.25. Volume just still too low for me. As much as I want to trade that, the volume is just atrocious. NVIDIA, back and forth in NVIDIA. That's one thing I clearly see. Getting another test on Chevron here, or not Chevron, on CSX here. So just watching the railroads here overall. Seeing UNP down too, so I'm looking at these and they just don't look that great right now. It could start to come back here, but watching it. Big thing is XLI did take a little bit of a dip there, right back to the VWAP. So I'm looking to see if XLI can go back towards that 35.70 here with a push in the SPY. So those are the two to watch. On the upside, GE and Caterpillar. GE with a nice little push to 187. Cat pushing strong. Need Lockheed Martin to come back here. Lockheed Martin pulling back to the 602s. Not a bad swing level. Not a bad swing level because you're now coming back here into this area. So it doesn't look too bad there on Lockheed Martin. It's definitely pulled back. It's broken a little bit there, but could start to recover off the 600. It recovered yesterday twice off this level. Let's see what happens there. 599. It's at 602 right now. SPY still trying to break the high here. That's why I'm hanging out in CSX. As the SPY could break the high, it's not going to be looking too bad. On the other account there, it did get stopped out on the VIXY for what, $15? But looking at the VIXY right now, it's starting to come back down to the 34. It's going to be all dependent on what happens here. But if the SPY can break out and go to 569, I could see this actually crumbling back towards 13 today. Does it mean it's getting back there towards, like, let's say 12? No, but I do see that opportunity here. Now, the only question is, do I want to take the trade on the downside here in the limited account? So just keeping that in mind. You're seeing the back and forth action. That's what I'm also focused on, as it's back and forth. That's why I haven't taken the next bet, because you're still shaking out there, guys. The SPY could still make a move to the downside. It's rejected to go to that 569. Now we've had multiple moves to try to get through this 568.50s. So that's a big level to watch here in the next, let's say, minute or two. Might just take here a hit in CSX. It's just bottoming, but it's not getting the push back, and it's really quickly about to stop me out. And it's going to be a big hit. It'll be like 6 something if it does hit me here. Only reason it's keeping me in is the way that the SPY's propping here. It could still make them run to 569, and all of a sudden we're right back up here. Google back above 167, something to watch. We'll see if the SPY just makes a quick move to 569 here. The Q's right on the top, right? So you can see the Q's a little bit better than the SPY today, as the Q's are leading, but there's resistance right there. 181.50. I talked about how that was an important level. We recovered it already. Now can we hold above it, or will we just reject right above this level? So you can look here on the hourly and start taking a look to see if you start to get a move back towards the next layer, which is 483. Q's trying to make that move to the upside here. VIXY starting to break. All right, got to take the shot here, guys, in the VIXY. Will the SPY break out here? Will we have a turnaround Tuesday? It's hard, guys. There's 3 attempts to the downside here. Could hold here and then just bounce. So that's the real determining factor here. SPY looks like it wants to try it. I didn't take the trade there at the 1333s. Maybe hesitating there a little bit. Was going to give the SPY the chance, and it did it. It's right now trying to approach that high. VIXY's right off of that move here. I'll show you guys it. I was hesitating there at the 1333s. Could have taken the trade short again. Key is this 1, 2, 3 bottoms right here. So it's still looking very symmetrical for an upside move. And that's where I got to be a little bit careful. SPY trying the move, guys. Trying the move, but can't really take off right now. We'll look to see if it does get the takeoff. See, back through 569, and I think you start to get the worry away a little bit of, especially yesterday's action, right? You start to shake yesterday's action. You start approaching yesterday's high, which was 570.97. Yeah, you're bouncing back. Will it take the 569 here? We'll see what happens. What's up out there, guys? Found a swing play. Might have room to play with. EXEL. Don't know that one, Wisdom. Don't know it, man. Wheeler taking off here, guys. Wheeler. SPY pushing strong there now towards the 568, 568.80s. Here it is, guys. Here's the attempted move here. So now we'll see what happens. Now will the SPY just reverse right back down? That would get my trade to definitely fall off on CSX. So at this point, I can make bets on both sides of the trade here. I'm going to take an opposite trade here against my trade, right? So really, I'd be betting to the downside on the VIXY, but I'm going to bet on the upside of the VIXY here, just in case it goes against my CSX position. At least one of them should be ending up into the green here. So taking a little bit of an opportunity here. I'm going to go ahead and long a little bit of the VIXY here just to see what happens. I'm taking about $100. We'll see what happens here. This is the limited account. Just grabbed a little bit there at the 1330s. We'll see what happens here, guys. Betting on both sides. So willing to take a little bit of a shot here to see if the SPY just comes crumbling right back down. So another thing is to set up for an ad here at 1340s if it just starts to take off. Trying to set up some buying power here. All right, I'll add 500 if it comes back towards 1340s. SPY is trying to break a breakout here, though. Got to risk about $100 here. So going to risk towards 1320s. Yeah, 1320s. So there, I said it there. We'll see what happens. SPY is trying to make that breakout here. CSX is coming back. At least that's coming back there, guys. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a little bit of a battle on both sides of the trade today. Definitely seeing it out there. CSX starting to come back there. We'll see what happens, guys. Will they be able to hold on there? Took a little bit of a shot there in the other trade to give it a little bit of some kind of reversal action just in case we get reversals on the SPY. It was a battle type of day, guys. I can tell you guys, this both sides of this trade, we could still see a big wick down on the SPY, and the next thing you know, we're down because we've tried to get to 569 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Sometimes you reject that and all of a sudden it's a quick move down, right? So at this point, I got to go ahead and protect both trades here and just get ready for whatever happens, right? So we could still see a washout on this CSX. So just keeping that in mind here. Just seems like we're getting that back and forth, but the market is trying to climb back and Apple's starting to come back there. So that doesn't look too bad. And so is Google. So those are names to watch. SMCI is also another name that's hot, right? Here's the SPY slowing down there. All right, team, back and forth action in the market today. Stay safe out there, traders. We'll be wrapping up in just a few minutes here. It's still a little early, so I'm going to stay around, but man, it's definitely a back and forth type of day. Triple bottom on that 37, so definitely won't let it get through that 37 on CSX. It's just going to be that battle right now to see what happens here. Does it start to climb back or not? The battle's on the SPY, right? That's what's going to determine it here. So you could get some back and forth. Be careful with stop outs in between that. That's what I'm trying to avoid right now. Showing my hand there, and it just gets me in between that. That's another thing that could happen, right? I'm watching the VIX also. Same thing, right? Could just do a little bit of a wick there, get me out, and then all of a sudden it starts to really make the move. So I got to watch both sides of the trade here and just got to be kind of be careful on both sides here. Will the SPY make a wicked move down here, or will it just rip up? 2 moves, 2 bets. You guys stay safe out there, traders. All right, guys, it's been a tough one. What's up out there, team? What are you guys looking at? Looking around at the news to see if there's any more news out there. I don't think there is, but definitely going to be watching out there. Betting on congressional elections is lawful, said the federal appeal courts. So I guess you can bet to see who's going to be the president. Honestly, such a coin flip at this point. I thought it wasn't going to be a coin flip. I'll be honest. I thought Trump had it in the bag, but looks like Harris has been making a comeback. Biden wouldn't have. I'll tell you that much. The American, even the Democrats are done with Biden. Poor old man. I mean, he's at least an old man. He's retired. He's done. Here's the SPY coming back for the up move here and trying to stop me out on the VIXY, right? It's just trying to do the in-between move. That's what I feel like, right? And that's where I got to be a little bit careful because it's going to be that in-between move now. If I'm trying to do this kind of hedge betting, I got to be careful and sometimes give it a little room here now. So that's where it gets hard here because the SPY is going to make the move here and it's trying to stop me out there on the VIXY, on the limited account. Could take a hit today about 130 in that. I'm watching it right now off the 1317 here, and it's trying to hit some stops. It's activating some stops right there. So there's the SPY trying to make the liftoff through the 569. Will it do it? Look how it slows down right there. That's where I'm being a little bit careful because I feel like this is just wick testing. It's hitting some stops here, and it gets scary because the truth is that you start to increase risk here when you're doing things like this. But hey, it's just how it is right now. You can see the wicks. There's another wick there on the SPY. It just seems to me like they're trying to trick to the upside and can do a quick sweep to the downside. This is a tough trade, guys. And it's tough to stay in it. I'm sure if you had like something at VWAP and you're deep green, it feels like you want to run to the money. There's a reason why, right? So look how the Qs reject there. So does the SPY. That's where I'm being a little bit careful and not just cutting the VIXY to the upside, because all of a sudden we could have a big candle right back down, right? And so the battle's on there, guys. Apple's right back towards 226. Google's above 167. So that's not looking too bad. But the overall market just can't make the move, and there's something fighting it here. It could be some bigger sizing trying to short into the market here, as we have been getting some downside action here. So it's going to be a tough one here right now. And I can tell you that because it's just back and forth right on an important level. It's trying to wash out traders on both sides. And I'm sure you've been washed out. I'm pressuring here on this trade. Definitely risking more than I should have. So should be around 100. It's one of those days. The volatility might take you a little bit higher in your risk today. I can clearly see that in the way that the action's trading. Still see that topping there, man. It's so hard not to just cut this, but the truth is there's still topping on the SPY, and CSX hasn't taken off anywhere. It's just like hanging out. Getting a further test, and the SPY is just playing with me now, and so is the VIXY. They're both playing with me now. And that's where it gets very difficult, because we're not making a move in the SPY, we're not making a move in the VIXY, but we are kind of cracking down here, right? So that's where it gets very difficult to hold throughout this. And the truth is, just probably too big size for the limited account. Maybe 500 shares, a better size here to kind of handle some of this volatility today. SPY trying. Can't get to the 569. There's something about that team tells me that just be wary. If we can't get to the 569, there's a reason why. VIXY trying to wipe me out there. There's the SPY trying to go higher there. Look at the wicks though, man. Such tricky action today, man. That's hard. That's hard, team. It's just climbing in this channel. And when you're in a really tight channel, the truth is there's both sides available to the trade. It gets hard, right? The truth is you're kind of climbing, hitting the Bollinger, pulling back. Right? And you see how the Bollinger is on the bottom side here? It's starting to curl back to the upside, right? Because the price action's slowing down. So I'm just looking to see what happens on this 569. Could still get a wick down to 568. And the VIXY just keeps playing with me, man. It's putting more and more pressure on me on the VIXY to try to get me to cut out and then watch this go right back to the downside, right? And if I let that happen, next thing you know, I'm pressured on both sides, right? So as long as CSX is not getting me out on that pressure, I'm willing to push it right now, just because right now we're going to get this back and forth. Clearing towards the 269 and really holding up there, you could start seeing kind of Apple take lead here. It seems like Apple's starting to come back there. Let's take a look at what's leading in the SPY right now. So you can see Humana is on the bounce back. Huge bounce back for Humana today. Huge bounce back. Lamb Weston in the green there. Caesars Entertainment, Vista, DEC bouncing back. Of course, Nike's earnings probably hurt that. AVGO staying strong. AMAT staying strong. So some of these tech names had a good move off the VWAP. That's for sure. The slowdown, man. The slowdown is ridiculous. This is what I mean by sometimes they try to just like lull you to sleep too. They're lulling you to sleep, and then all of a sudden, boom, they'll make a move, right? And so that's where it's very hard as a trader. You got to be patient. Sometimes it's just not, being too focused on every tick, because you start to burn your mindset, right? Is an attempt moved higher? Will it work? Man, this is it's even lulling me to sleep now. Come on, market, do something. Upside rip, I'm not too mad. I mean, I lose here in the limited account, but then upside lift could get that CSX into the green. That's a $900 trade, right? So to each his own, right? The limited account is a little bit smaller, so still taking a $200 hit there will be a hit, right? So watching it on both sides here. Now 4 wicks on the 5 minutes for the SPY to the upside. So still a battle there in the SPY. I still don't think they have it, right? And so that's where it gets hard. Look at it here on the 5 minute. I'll show you. 1, 2, 3, 4 wicks up there, man. This is not looking bueno, man. It's a harder trade when it's like this, guys, when it's back and forth. And it's right here on the breakout to the upside. So not looking too bad. I definitely think XLK should have been a better play here. So this is one that I was talking about. Could have been a good play today to play. And how could we have played this? I think it was on a recovery of the hourly low. Nice recovery on the hourly low. Let's go towards an hourly chart. You guys can see this a little bit more here on the XLK. So the XLK, you can see how you had this bottoming action right here around the 219.40 level. It went down below that towards 219.20. As you recover that, we can risk off the 20s, looking for the move back towards the resistance. Resistance around this 221.50s. Next layer is up there towards 222.50s. But I could have just taken it back here towards this 221.50s, getting in there around the 219.60s maybe even, and then just riding it up there for about $2. Not a bad trade there, right? Even if you risk there towards the 20s, you're risking about $40 to make 200 on 100 shares, just to keep it simple, right? That's the type of trade that isn't a bad trade at all. And one that I missed today, and one that we'll be looking at for potentially the next time, right? I think that's always a thing to do, is to learn. Where could we have taken a simple trade today? Sometimes the simple trades are the best ones. And now it's kind of thinking of, I see some C-Web having a decent day today. Of course, C-Web is kind of your bull China, but there's also Yang, right? There's also the opposite bet in China. I think at some point that's going to be a bet, right? The only question is, how do you go about that? Or maybe how do you short C-Web today and risk off the top? There's still potential to be made there, because China will do a little bit of a gap down eventually. Then there's going to be an opportunity to buy it, but I'm watching for moves like that too. 568.94s. Can it finally do the move? XLK going higher, SPY going higher. So that opens up the door here. Now could get another takedown move here. There it is. Just got hit there, guys. 245 hit there. Just got the hit there in the VIXI. Limited account in the red. Actually a max red day there. Down 323s. But now the CSX trade starts to look a little bit better. So not going to be too mad about that. Let's see if this can really start to climb back here. Get me back into the green on the day, at least in the overall aspects, right? Still looking for CSX. This is the main account. This is the bigger position. Let's see if this starts to make the move with the SPY making the rip towards 569. And look at Apple start to go. So I like that Apple move. That's a nice little move higher. Now Google looks interesting here. I did get stopped out on Google a little bit earlier here. So thinking about maybe getting back into Google. I think it can make a run to 170 if we really run today. So let's see what happens here. The SPY just made a break towards 569. Now we just want to see it hold 569, right? Not break the 569 here and just start to get a nice little upside potential move. All right, guys, it's 10:50. I'm probably just going to go ahead and wrap it up. We'll see what happens. If CSX goes back through the lows, I'll be out of that. Back through the highs towards 35 is what I'm looking for on CSX. We'll see if we're able to get that move back up through that level. Definitely pushed it a little bit too much there in the limited account today, taking a big hit there, guys, and I'm not going to I'm not going to go away from that, right? Took a loss on API, took a loss on the VIXI. This one was the good one. Cut it at the break even. This one was the bad one there, really getting caught there on that downturn. And it was just back and forth. I didn't want to double dip and bet right back to the downside on VIXI, even though it seems like that was the bet to make, right? As it comes back to 13, we'll see what happens. SPY coming right back to 569. So it's going to test that. It's back and forth day. It's one of those days where you're going to definitely get that back and forth, right? There's the breakout. We'll watch it, Shane, because it could be right back down, right? Definitely not a breakout, at least as it gets stuffed really quickly. So it's just pressuring more and more. It went right back into the channel, right back to that 569, right? So watch it, guys. Watch it. This is hard trading today, guys. I'm going to wrap it up today. Definitely got a little bit of a hit on the VIXI, and we'll just shake it, man. Only thing I can do is come back tomorrow and try to battle in the limited account. Maybe that limited account goes. That's why it's a limited one and it's smaller. We'll still have range in the main account, right? Even if I take the hit today, we'll still be in the green on that account. It's got to keep pushing, traders. I hope you guys are back tomorrow morning and battling with myself. And like always, guys, the market's not easy. I talked about that today and how you can get that back and forth action. And look at the SPY. It's right back below that 569. We'll see if it reclaims 569. But doesn't look good when it starts going back and forth like this. That's going to do it for me right now. Even on the swing account, there's some back and forth action. I am long on Picard right now, but who knows if that will be able to hold on. Google did get the stop out there. We'll be watching. If the SPY comes crashing down now, the VIXI goes and takes off there, right? So look at this. Look at the SPY right back down here, guys. This is where it gets just dangerous, right? So be careful today, guys. Back and forth trading. That's the easiest way to ruin an account. And today is one of those days where if I get cut out of CSX, I'm not going to keep trading. I'm just going to call it a day. Take the hit, take the punches when you can. And another thing is give some punches back, right? Well, we'll punch tomorrow if we have to, right? It's not always you have to punch today, right? That's what happens to a lot of traders. They just keep over trading in this chop that we're getting right now. Why? Because there was such a big move yesterday. Everyone's trying to make a ton of money today. That's when the greed can get to you. And you can start to oversize. I clearly pushed it on the limited account. Should have been smaller sized on that to take a smaller hit and stay in the battle, right? Like I talk about it all the time. Big thing is, can you get out of that survivor stage and get to the thriving stage? I hope you guys make it there. I'll see you guys back tomorrow morning. Smash the like. And like always, keep battling right here on Trade the Pool, guys. Stay safe out there, traders. Going to be back and forth today. And that's one thing's for certain. We'll see what happens there. Now the SPY back towards 568.50s, approaching back down here. VIXI towards 13.15s. So it's going to be a little bit of a battle type of day, guys. They ain't going to make it easy, especially with the recent action. We'll see you guys back tomorrow. Stay safe out there, traders. And like always, man, we'll never know which way the market can go. And you have to be eyes open for any headlines right now, especially in swing trading. When we're having such headline risk, it's hard to swing trade because you can ruin a trade just because of a headline, right? So keep the eyes on the macro situation also. We'll see you guys back tomorrow morning.